Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daybreak Debrief, is the way I've said that. Gio, how you feeling?
I'm all right actually. Despite, I was really annoyed after yesterday's game, but I think because we're not out, I feel like there's only
Sure.
so much annoyed I can be. Because I think when the game comes around next week, I was confident we would be in the fourth round. I'm not so confident anymore. It's got me quite nervous
Mm.
actually. I'm not looking forward to this tie. However, because we're not out yet, I think there's a cap to my frustration.
Yeah, I think if you'd asked me before the match, would we be through to the fourth round? I would have said yes. I wasn't like going into it with huge amounts of confidence, but I said 2-1, so I was like, that'll be it. That's whatever. If you asked me at half time, I said I was still relatively confident. I thought if one team's more likely to score, it would have been us. And yet then it came to the second half, and it was just a complete. It was just that second half, man. Like you say, I'm not sitting here seething or anything, but I'm just like, it was just kind of pathetic in a way.
Yeah,
We just had nothing.
I was all right at half time, Charlie. A goal up and losing Paqueta was a blow, and the performance dipped immediately as soon as he went off. But we were winning 1-0, and I didn't really feel Fabianski had that much to do, and I was more annoyed at Bristol City's tactics rather than anything else. And I thought it was working. They were trying to rough us up a little bit, and I thought it was working.
Yeah,
My
100%.
partners went off injured. It's hard to say it doesn't work. And Alvarez got booked as a result of almost getting pissed off with the way they were going about things. And I like that, actually. I like the fact that we had at least one player that said, I'm not having this. I'm going to get stuck in as well. Because I think there was too many of our players that said, I don't fancy this physical altercation that you're inviting us on for. But the second half was it was pathetic. It was. There was just nothing there, and I was surprised at the last 5-10 minutes. It was just chaos. It was almost honestly, it was like Slaven Bilic era of just lob on attackers and pray something happens. And when you're relying on Paqueta, Kudus, and Bowen to do something, I think there's a bit of merit in that, which is they're probably going to do something at some point. But when you're relying on Ings and Mubama to do something, I'm not sure that is going to work. You cannot rely on that. And I think this is where I was frustrated yesterday because it felt like there was no sort of plan as to how to score. It just felt like it was put on these players and hope one of them do something, or there's a bit of play between them that gets us the goal. And the last, Souček stayed on. I don't know why, but Souček stayed on. But again, the last 5 minutes he's outside the box. I'm like, he's kept on for his aerial threat, and we're not even trying to utilize it. And in fact, he was a hindrance because get the ball all the way outside their box and then give away a free kick outside ours. And I didn't enjoy that second half at all, Charlie.
No, we kept seeing elements creeping of Suchek being further forward than James Ward-Prowse in that second half as well, which is just an infinite problem that I don't think is possible because someone like Thomas, the most frustrating thing for me with Thomas Suchek, and it's not what most people find frustrating in the fact that he exists and is on the football pitch. I'm quite fine with that bit. Is when him and James Ward-Prowse switch and he's the one who's further forward. I don't understand why, because Thomas Suchek is like one of the few guys I trust to get forward and get into the right position, especially arriving late in the box. So I don't understand why we feel the need to be like, no, he has to be pushing forward. It just felt a little bit needless to me, especially when we had the amount of people going forward. I don't know. It was just like you say. I was like scrolling through stats right before we came on, and I appreciate to most people this is not going to be that big of a difference, right? But I think it was something like 82% of Bristol shots came in inside our box, which if you look at like Manchester United, for example, who had the exact same amount of shots as Bristol, as against us as we did, only theirs was like 60 something percent, like 62 or something. If you look at Arsenal, it was only 50%. Now Arsenal had a hell of a lot of shots, so it's going to be slightly hurt the figure. But it showed how easily they got into that position because our whole bit is like, right, we're cutting you out of that box. You can take long shots. We saw that against Liverpool. You can take long shots as long as you want, right? Unfortunately, Liverpool managed to score almost all of them, right? But that's our whole shtick. That's our whole fine. And usually I'm completely okay with that. But the fact that Bristol City was so easily getting in behind, and there were times in that second half, and I think part of it is the fact that we've got Ogbonna and Zuma on the pitch, so when we're even slightly further up the pitch, it's a terrifying prospect because watching those two run backwards is it's just a horrendous thing. They just got in so easily and behind us at times, and it was for a team who are usually and trade on the fact that we are very good defensively, to watch Bristol City get in so easily. And before I say this, actually, I want to say fair play to Bristol City. It does. I know there's going to be. I know there's going to be a heck of a lot less Bristol City fans watching this one than there was last night in the review and the watch along and everything. But you know, I do think it's fair to say, like, fair play to them because they turned up with their game plan. I respect it. It might not have been. I might not have been. It might not have been my vibe. But I respect a bit of roughhousery. They were the underdogs. You got scrap. You got to fight for the win. Fair play. But they came up with their thing and it worked. And I don't want to I don't want to diminish that by what I'm about to say, and because it's going to sound very demeaning. How the hell Bristol City are getting in behind us that frequently, that easily? Like, it's just insane. Like, there was nothing, and then we couldn't get forward. We couldn't get forward really until Danny Ings came on, which is something we'll get onto. But it was just I almost couldn't believe it. I almost couldn't believe how just like messy it was in that sense.
I could. I think that's the worst thing. I think that's why when we went from our defeats and we beat Freiburg and Wolves, and there was some suggestion that we're playing differently and playing different tactics, and I was reluctant. I say reluctant. I wasn't buying into that at all. I just felt no, we're playing better, and B, the opponents are suiting us more. That Freiburg were coming at us, Wolves were coming at us, and then you look at our wins; they're predominantly against sides that will come on to us and allow us to play counter-attacking football. Then when we flip it round and we come up against Bristol City, where we have the lion's share of the ball. I assume we did anyway, but it was a case of what are you going to do? The answer is we're not sure actually, because you won't let us counter-attack. Even our goal, which obviously wasn't a counter-attack, but there was aspects of that goal that is similar to what you would do in a counter-attack. The run from Jarrod Bowen, the direct pass from Lucas Paqueta. It's a fantastic goal. I want to see more of that. But even that was through just individual skill and quality. The pass and vision from Paqueta, then the touch and finish from Jarrod Bowen. Two fantastic players in good form at the minute, linking up. And that was it. There was no patterns of play or anything that got us the goal against Bristol City. It was just down to two of our front three. Obviously, the other one's African nations, but two of our front three linking up. And, you know, the guy that's getting a lot of assists, getting another one. The guy's getting a lot of goals, getting another one. That's what it came down to ultimately. But Bristol City didn't allow us to play the game. And as much as a West Ham fan, I hate how they played because it worked. I think that's why I hate it more. It is dirty, but if we were to go play a superior team to us, like when we played the likes of Arsenal, I want to see us do that. I want to see us in their faces, hard tackling. And when we do them, I'm celebrating tackles like, you know, a top save from the goalkeeper. I'm thinking, there you go. That's what you want to see from your boys. And every time Bristol City did it, while they were getting free kicks for that, it gets the away fans going. Those Bristol City fans made a load of noise at London Stadium. And to see their players out on the pitch fighting for the shirt and each other, especially after going to go down 4 minutes in, it's very easy to go, oh, here we go, comfortable win. Like Newcastle did it to Sunderland. Newcastle went there, a difficult fixture for them to play. They're not in good form. They're crap away from home. Sunderland away. It must be, while the fans love it, I bet you Eddie Howe was absolutely hating that draw. But they went there, they got, albeit to an own goal, they got the goal, and they just managed the game pretty comfortably. They were 2-0 up before Sunderland had a sniff at goal, and when they did, and then Newcastle gave it back. Sunderland were trying to rough them up. Newcastle were getting it right back, saying, you want some, we'll give you a bit back. Gordon, Yolenton, Bruno, they were all smashing into tackles just as much as Sunderland was. There was no reaction from us like that. Soufal and Alvarez were the only two that looked pissed off that they were sort of bringing the game to us physically. The rest of them, Zuma, Ogbonna, Souček, Bowen, didn't really look up for it. And that's what disappointed me the most. While their tactics are a little bit underhand, they need to level it somehow. We have better players and need to bring us down to their level. And I thought they did that fantastically well. They said, let's fight. And we said, no, thank you. So they knew they had us.
Yeah, I mean, they targeted Soufal very, well, not targeted, but maybe it was just the fact that Pring was so up for just having a fight. But there was a time where there was like, in about a 5-minute period, they went flying into Soufal 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And I was joking with the live chat to an extent, going, They are poking the beast of Sufal
Well, they knew,
specifically.
didn't they? It was almost like they did their
Yeah,
homework, which is this guy will
yeah,
kick off. This guy will lose his head. You saw it against Wolves. This guy will do something that's liable to getting him
yeah.
sent off. So, like you said, just keep going at him. And he went in on praying. He won the ball. It was a really good tackle. But the referee also took him over. He said, hey, I've seen what you've just done there. You won the ball, but had you not won it, that's a booking minimum. Frustrating, Charlie.
Yeah, it becomes such a difficult thing to talk about because although, like, obviously, it's one of the things a lot of people say it in the live chat now, people say it in the live chat, the watch along, I see it in the review comments, I see it everywhere on Twitter, right, all the time. This idea of us relying on a couple of players, being Paqueta, being Kudus, look, I'm not going to say I disagree with that. I would also say to those people, I'll pick any team in the Premier League who can take out their 4 best or 3 best players and still look as good as they were previously. You're going to struggle because that's important. But the thing I would say is that we didn't start with a bad lineup yesterday.
That was our strongest 11, Charlie.
When I came onto the build up, Gonzo was very annoyed. Specifically, the Fornells was playing, right? And you know when we do the 4-point scale of how he felt, he would have put number 3. He would have been in the first negative category. I would have been comfortably in the positive. Like that is like I didn't know how it was going to be balanced, but it was an 11 that I was very happy. I was like that is arguably the strongest 11 we could put out on the pitch, player for player. That is arguably the strongest. You could make an argument for balance potentially. I said if you look at the way Fornals and Paqueta play wide, they're very similar. So I said, so I would probably put a preference of playing Paqueta up front, even though I felt like we needed him deeper. But we ended up starting with that anyway. And I think to some extent, if he stayed on the pitch, it might have been a comfortable win. Like, just because it felt so easy in the opening 10 minutes. But I just can't get over the fact that... Let's skip to further in the game, right? Mubama comes on. And I think Mubama's another one of the big topics. I think both the strikers are to an extent. Because Mubama come on, and I really don't want to say it. I feel like I kind of have to, because I really, really want him to succeed, and I really do think he can, and I love the things he brings, but I just haven't seen it. He's getting chances, and he's just not. I'm not seeing what I know is there, and that's the most frustrating part. This isn't when we sign a player who I've never heard of or I haven't really watched too much of, and I'm having to rely on what other people have said and go, well, he's probably good at this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. I've seen Mubama. I know what he can do, and yet there were times yesterday, for example, he was just getting pushed off the ball. Like, they were just like, he was going, long balls coming forward to him. What you need to do is just hold it up. Just be the hold up guy. That's all you need to do. And they were just playing it. They were just pushing him off. They were jumping over him. It was like he wasn't there for most of the game until Danny Ings came on. We went 2 up top, and weirdly, Mubama found himself out wide on the right most of the time. Then he started to come alive a little bit, but probably because he had a bit of time and space on the ball. But I feel harsh saying it. I agree that he gets a 3 pass to a certain extent because of who he is, but like, I don't know. I just don't want to criticize him too much. But
I'm going to do a video about Mubama this week because obviously we've got we've got 2 weeks break now. We've got a week break now. But I've written down a few topics that I'm going to discuss. Tim Stiden being one, Mubama was the other. So I'm going to try not to say too much, otherwise it's going to devalue that video. Just
sure.
I've not been impressed by every video, every review, especially the player ratings. Actually, I'm going to plug Pitch in a second. Every player ratings we do, we discuss Mubama when he plays, and I say I'm still not impressed. However, I'm not bothered, Charlie. I've got all the patience in the world with him. He's a kid learning his trade, and has he impressed me? No. Is he worrying me? Not really. I'm still not that. We discussed it in this video last time, and I'm still not worried because. You have to give him lots and lots of time. If it was a centre back, I'd be saying, "Whoa, let's maybe not play him." If he was putting in the same level of performance in Mubama, which doesn't look ready, I think that's a fair label. Doesn't look ready yet. I don't think you can play a centre back when he doesn't look ready because that will cost you. Now, arguably, Mubama does cost us, but it's not as crucial It's what a centre back does. A centre back needs to be, on the top of his game for 95 minutes plus. Otherwise, you could end up conceding a goal. A striker only needs to be on top of his game for 5 minutes, and he could get you a goal. So the demand, I think, from the two positions, obviously there's a lot of positions in between those. It's significantly different, and I think I'm happy with Mubama. And at the minute, the alternatives are Danny Ings. I don't want to see Danny Ings. I'd rather have a not dreading Mubama rather than a out of system Danny Ings, if you like. So I've got all the patience in the world. Am I impressed? Not yet, but I use that word "yet" quite heavily because I expect I will become impressed. I've still got high hopes for the kid. I just think we just need to stick with him, give him as plenty of opportunity as possible, and also play him with two of Kudus, Bowen, and Paqueta, because I'm not sure. I don't think he's had that opportunity yet. There's only one of them. It's usually Bowen, but I don't think I'm not sure he's been on the pitch at the same time as Kudus yet. In fact, when he it was Burnley away, and we scored 2 goals while they were both on the park at the same time. So we need Mubama to have 2 of Kudus, Bowen, and Paqueta for a substantial period of time in a game before I think we can really have a look at him. So I'm actually pleased he's getting all these minutes. Actually, to be honest with you, I've been quite impressed by Moyes giving him these minutes.
Yeah, I was shocked that he was the one who came on. I said it a couple of games ago that I was shocked that he chose Mubama to come on. I was shocked again that he chose him to come on this early. I think it would have been. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I thought Danny Ings was set to come on straight away as a lone striker, and I was going to be very frustrated about the whole situation. How did you think about Danny Ings' performance? Because I'll be honest with you, I thought he was all right when he came on.
He missed that chance. That chance is going to overshadow everything. So
I looked back at that chance, right? Because I was thinking this, right? After the match, I was thinking I thought he was all right when he came on. And then when that chance, and then when I was looking at the reaction, lots of people were going on about the chance. And I'm doing a watch along. Sometimes I even miss replays. Like, I'll see the chance and then I'm talking about what just happened, so I might miss a replay or whatever. So I felt like, do you know what? I need to go back and watch it a bit more. It comes to him very quick on his weak side. Don't get me wrong. It's probably one of the stronger chances we're going to have. And because of the situation we're in, you have to take your chances. Like, you just can't not. But,
it's,
like...
it's an effort of a rusty striker, isn't it?
That's definitely someone who didn't know it was coming to him, and someone who, because they're rusty and they try to hit it with his weak foot. And I agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna promote Patreon now for you patrons. Hey, stick around. But for those that aren't, Major said his player that got played 8 minutes got his best rating. Mine too, actually, Lee. You will discover at 9:30. I'm live on Patreon with Gonzo. What is Patreon? It's basically a third channel where we do more videos. So if you want more videos, or even if you don't want them, but you would like to contribute to this channel and the forum channel, so we can keep doing one video, sometimes 2 videos per day for free on YouTube, and go to patreon.com/HamishChat. The more support, the better. We don't have any brand deals this month. We've had 1 or 2 approaches. We don't want to work with them. We rejected them. We said, no, thank you. Rather have no brand deals than bad brand deals. Patreon.com/HamishChat. Links in the description below. Any support is massively appreciated. And in return, they get additional video content as well as entry into giveaways. I've got a load of signed shirts. They're not there anymore. I've moved them over there. But I've got Sufal, Ward-Prowse, Emerson, 3 Paqueta signed shirts to give away, Charlie. We've got Jarrod Bowen ones coming up, and we've got a big Jarrod Bowen competition coming up in the next week or so on Patreon, actually, which is you can get a Jarrod Bowen signed shirt personalised to you. So Bowen will write whatever you want on. So if Charlie won it, it would say, to Charlie, I don't know, whatever you want. Do you want to say lots of love?
To Bevo.
What else would you like from Jarrod Bowen?
Love you, man, from Jarrod.
There you go. It could say, to Bevo, love you, man, from Jarrod. Bowen himself will write that on the shirt for Bevo. So we've got that competition coming up. Many sports appreciate. In regards to Danny Ings, Moyes made a very, very interesting comment last night. He was asked specifically, there's a lot of rumours about Danny Ings leaving this month. Will he leave? I'm sort of misquoting this, but you get the gist. The reporter basically said, is Ings up for sale in January? And Moyes' response was along the lines of, I thought he did all right when he came on, actually. I thought he played pretty good. And the reporter could have accepted that, which was he just ignored what the question was and spoke about how he thought Ings had a good game. But the reporter went back when I was like, hello. The reporter went back and said, so he's not leaving in January then? So he said, so you'd like to keep him then? And Moyes said, all I'm saying is he had a good game. So he did nothing to suggest Ings isn't leaving in January transfer window. I've always thought he wouldn't go, right? Until I've heard Moyes say that. Now I'm thinking, oh, maybe there's a chance here actually that Ings is going to be shipped out in the January transfer window.
I think the opportunities Mubama was getting was the beginning of me being like sort of like maybe Danny Ings will actually go, because I'm like you. I would have thought not only would we not go just from a conservative transfers perspective of we've got one striker out, we can't lose our other registered senior striker and then just have a youth guy and Jarrod Bowen. That feels a bit insane. Right, I thought maybe that's the tact he would have taken for the window, and then you've got the other side of it being he's on a hell of a lot of wages. Trying to shift him is going to be a slightly difficult thing to do and everything else, right? When Mubama started getting game time, I was like, that's interesting, because we've seen for an entire season plus that, you know, when it's time, Danny Ings comes on and the game dies, and we're all just like, and well, I'm like, doesn't work. What's the point in doing this? So the fact he stopped doing it, I refuse to believe that it was like a lesson learnt type thing. I think it was
the last few times we have seen Ings, Charlie, he has actually had a strike partner.
Yeah.
Most of them. It's usually Mubama as well, but usually there's a other striker next to Danny Ings. So, I mean, he's been here a calendar year now. He joined in January 23, so he's been here for a calendar year. And it's like, it feels like he's just on his way out his door, and we're finally playing him the way he wants to be played. And it's like, now we're going to let you go, but we're finally going to give you a strike partner now. But even when he's had two up front, albeit in cameo roles, it's still not worked. I'm more intrigued as to what we're going to do if he goes, because surely we're not going to go with, I mean, we can't go with Antonio. He come back to training last week, slipped, and he's out till the end of the month. I mean, you can't.
I mean, he sort of has to, I guess. But
by the way, did you see how their goal happened? Bro just said about watching Zuma run is horrible, right? But did you see their goal? We actually had a free kick on the right-hand side on the halfway line. For some reason, Zuma went over to the right-back position to take it. Gave it to Alvarez, who's now in Zuma's position. Gave it to Bona. As he does that, Alvarez moves forward and Zuma starts to come back over. Bona then gives it to Emerson, who just lashes at it with his right foot and goes into the middle of the pitch, who then the centre-back beats Mubama in the air. So, Bristol City player who lays off to another one. Lovely ball. I mean, it's a fantastic pass to Conway. But it came from, we had a free kick on the halfway line, and we did two passes, and then Emerson just hit it with his right foot into the middle of the pitch. And then about 20 seconds later, it's in the back of the net. We had a free kick. Zuma was in the right back position taking it. And he's like, what? How we managed that? The more I look at it, I think, what are we even doing? It's just, how have we done that? Just bonkers.
Again, a brilliant pass from I don't know who the player was who played their assist.
Incredible.
So good.
Martin Noble. That's a Mark Noble pass.
Mark Noble-esque. The way he stays over it, hits it on the sort of side volley, skims across. I mean, that was brilliant. And I think I could finish from him as well. But yeah, again, it sort of punted long, right? And Mubama gets his head on that one, but it's sort of a bit panicked because the punt wasn't very accurate, let alone
even
whatever.
Punt, though. It was just like a scoop. I don't know. It's Emerson as well. Out of all the players on the pitch, him and Ward-Prowse are probably the two at least expect to do that. Bowen as well, maybe. But in terms of just like hitting it into like a blind part of the pitch, it was just a very strange thing for Emerson to do.
Yeah, I don't. I couldn't believe it at the time. I watched it back, still couldn't believe it. I'm just like, I mean, listen, again, it was just back the ball through, beautiful stuff, but like at the same time, my giddy aunt, I don't really understand what the hell we do sometimes in these situations. And I think it was someone I should have clicked on it or started at the time. There you go, Braw saying it. For example, we need a midfielder who can hold on to the ball. That's not to bring up someone who everyone hates and everything else, but when 41 left, when Rice left, I think that's the thing that I miss most from him. Is just that guy who's going to be able to collect the ball in the middle of the pitch and just drive it forward. And I think without with Paqueta, what we have is a sort of middle ground of someone who can drop deep, collect it, draw people in, and then with brilliant passing and nice like little touches and maybe some nice little link up play with Emerson as well can get us out of those positions. Outside of that, we don't really have that. Because Souček isn't that guy, James Ward-Prowse isn't that guy, Alvarez isn't that guy. You're relying on stuff now. Rama's not that guy. Fornals, although at one point he did manage to dribble past about 4 players somehow. Don't really know how. Because that wasn't even his game back in the day when we signed him, and he was actually like lightning good. And I was like, flipping hell, we've got this baller. That wasn't even his game then, so I don't particularly know how he did it. But yeah,
we were playing Bristol City. Like they were excellent, right? But they're a championship team. There's no one in that team I looked at that could, there's a Premier League player in that guy. When I spoke to Matthew, the Bristol City fan, he picked out one of their whole squad, one player that may play Premier League football in future. The rest of them, this is a championship team, or one player who might go on and play in the Premier League, and that was Conway. He was 21, I think, 22 maybe. He looked a handful as well. Is he ready today? Probably not, but he probably looked more suited to Premier League than Mubama did when they were both on the pitch. But we were playing a championship team, and if you took the last 80 minutes of the game, if you delete the first 10 minutes when Paqueta's on the pitch and you take an alien and show them that game and say, which one is their Premier League team? I think they might go, Bristol City, surely. Are they not? They're the ones with the game plan. They're the ones that are disciplined and that are organised, that know what they're doing. Whereas the last 15 minutes, Charlie, it was honestly, for Moyes, as much as he frustrates me now, he does usually have us organised and disciplined. I just don't like how he goes about it. I don't like the plan, but usually you can see what he's doing. The last 15 minutes, it was almost like there wasn't one. It was just can someone do something? I mean, he brought in Ben Johnson. I was thinking, oh yeah, that guy that's going to rack up an assist from right back for us. And he took Alvarez off, and it's just when he left Souček on, what's he? Unless you're going to put him up front, it's not really any benefit for it. It's just, I don't know. I'd given up the last 10 minutes, and I feel bad for saying this because I don't mean this per se, but there's a bit of me that was like, I don't even want to replay. Part of me was thinking, is it better if we just get beat and then we don't have this additional game? But I want to win the FA Cup, and I'm hoping we go there, we buck up our ideas, we put in the performance we should have done, we get the job done. The draws tonight, I usually get excited for the FA Cup draw. I'm like, hello, we're going to let's have a look at all the numbers and stuff. And it is tonight. I will watch it, but it's hard to get excited when we're only, it's a 50-50 chance if we're in the next round or not. We don't know yet. It's going to say Bristol City / West Ham United. I don't like it.
Then that raises the question then, when we do get to the replay, when we are playing at Bristol, how much stock are you putting in it?
All of it. I want to win the game.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. I agree with you. I do agree with you. I think you have to go into it and try and win it. It's not exactly a time we need. It's not exactly a time we need. Like you say, we should have had however many days break we were going to get. I can't remember what it was.
14. We were going to have 2 weeks off.
That's what we should have had. And now we've got
10 days.
Yeah, we can
penciled in for Tuesday. The club have put it out saying it's Tuesday, but it might move. Well, it's probably going to move because Bristol Rovers also has a game that night at home, so that's not going to happen. One of us is going to get shifted to the Wednesday, so it might be next Tuesday, it might be next Wednesday, and then we play Sheffield United on the Sunday. So there's no reason not to put out our first 11. But we've got a question mark over Jarrod Bowen, over Lucas Paqueta, and Mavropanos. It's not an ideal scenario to be going into. And they know they rough us up, they'll get a little bit of something out of us. So expect them to come at us like they did in the first half, which is they will be flying into tackles. They will be battling everything in the air. Conway will be trying to Harry Kane, one of our centre-backs. We need to be up for it. We got bullied yesterday. We need to turn up there, bully them and shut that crowd up, because I am really nervous for the game next week. And if I was a Bristol City fan, I'd be buzzing for it. I'd be like, we had them on the ropes at one point at the London Stadium. Get them back to our place, 27,000 capacity, I think it is. Let's get them in there and let's make it noisy and let's get in their faces, because those tackles they were doing at home, that will get the crowd going. They'll be up on their feet cheering every single one. Even though it's a foul and it's naughty, they'll still cheer it. They'll be like, yes, we've done it over the years. I used to love Mark Noble going in on Paul Pogba.
Oh yeah, 100%,
If he would whack into Hazard, I was like, yes, go on, Mark, get them. Loved it. Zabaleta would do it quite often to his wingers. He would just barge into them. I love Soufal does it. Alvarez does. I love it. So yeah, it's gonna be difficult. I don't see a cauldron of noise, but I think we might be having that.
It's definitely, and they're definitely going to be up for it. I did have a thought halfway through the game yesterday when they were going absolutely hog wild into us. A friend of mine who supports Arsenal, who watches our videos, especially around the time we face Arsenal, always gets really frustrated with you specifically. I'll always get a message about you, and he'll be like, he's constantly going on about tackling and like being up for games and all that stuff. And I'm yeah, because that's part of the game, bro.
Love it.
I don't know what you want from me.
Absolutely love it. Because when your entertainment on the ball is so little, a good hard tackle does get the fans going, just like a shot from 25 yards does. It gets the crowd going. It says to the crowd, I want to win this game. This is how much I want to win. So it works. Any game you watch, when one of those big tackles goes in, it gets a big cheer, round of applause, gets the crowd going, gets the rest of the team going. I think sometimes you need more of it. Ekwa and Longstaff at one point on Saturday, they both flew in for it. It was like proper. That was Premier League. They were probably both getting booed, but they both just got up and shook hands and got on with it. But both sets of fans started cheering and clapping. I thought, there you go. That's what you need. You need a little bit of grit about you. Get bullied too much.
Yeah.
But anyway, I need to go. I'm due with Gonzo 2 minutes ago. I need to get going, Mr. Walsh, I'm afraid.
I was about to finish anyway. This is what I was going to say. The reason I find it difficult is just because we look at it and we played our strongest 11, and it didn't go well. It didn't go well, and we're now in a situation where we have a lot of injuries and we're having to pick and choose. But hopefully by that time, maybe some of those people will be back and we can actually figure it out and we can actually see the extent of it. Hey, maybe we'll have signed someone. I don't know, but if it happens, you'll be damn sure that you'll find out on this channel with a video uploaded pretty quickly usually when it comes to all that stuff. So subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to hit that bell notification button so you don't miss out on any of the future videos. We'll of course be back for the daybreak debrief, which is what I'm going to call it, I guess. The day after the Bristol City match, where who knows, we'll see the vibe. But make sure to come back at 9 a.m. that day and for every video. Cheers everyone, like the video, love you all, speak to you later, bye everyone, bye.